Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is about the dress code of the 4 main MBTI personality types. I think that most of us have noticed that people dress differently depending on their personality, also depending on the situation. And I think it's a good idea to sort of, explore that so that it's easier to identify which personality type a particular individual is. So if we look at the censor judges usually like to dress conservatively. So you'll see that they will wear like three-piece suits. They don't like to show a lot of skin. The colors they use are usually more toned down. They like pieces that are timeless. And you'll see them in institutions such as, let's say, schools, especially like elementary or even high school as well. You'll see that. So there's this sort of structure. They will also try to implement a particular kind of uniform. So you'll see that if you go to a school where everyone dresses the same way, so there's a color scheme and things of the sort, it's probably a censor judge or institution. Same thing, let's say if you look at people who work in banks or even insurance companies, you'll see that most of these companies will implement a dress code where you cannot wear a skirt that is shorter than this one, like I say, at the level of the knee, or you cannot wear tank tops, even if, let's say, you don't interact directly with the public. So it doesn't matter if you work over the phone or if they can see you. For them, it is important that you uphold a particular dress code. So it's conservative, you're here to work, and also there's a sense of conforming to a particular ideal. So they do not promote individuality when it comes to how you dress, even the colors they're going to accept. So that's why I think it's interesting that you'll see that if a person feels comfortable in this particular environment, most likely they are censor judgers. When it comes to censor perceivers, they are the creative type, so they like to stand out. And you'll see that these individuals work well, let's say, in organizations that give them a lot of leeway. So let's say if you were to work at, let's say, Google, or if you were to work, let's say, in the movie industry, you'll see that people tend to be more laid back and they encourage people to wear flashy colors, to wear things that are unusual. They like designer clothes that you cannot buy, let's say, in your normal store. So they're the type of people who encourage people to be themselves, because when you think about the censor judges compared to censor perceivers, is that censor judges are about duty and tradition, and censor perceivers are about freedom and movement. So not the freedom of movement in terms of like able to, let's say, explore and create, but also it has to do with how you can express yourself through how you dress. So you'll see that censor perceivers, not only they like to be free that way, but also they'll give this freedom to other people. And so let's say if you look at the Emmy Awards or the Grammy Awards specifically, you will see that people tend to do that. And also you'll see that, let's say if you look at the Oscars, it's more conservative. So I would say that they do realize that, let's say, the way you can dress if you go to the Grammy Awards is different than, let's say, if you go to the Oscars. So there's more of a sort of classic look, even if someone is a censor perceivers. Intuitive thinkers, their emphasis is on knowledge and power. So an institution like university, it embodies that. So when you actually look at how people dress, like students, they have more leeway than it's if you were working at an insurance company, but the emphasis again is more on how they think, their intellectual performance, than their actual outerwear. So you'll see that they give people some leeway, but there's still certain things that they cannot wear and go to school. Like you say, you cannot just walk in there in like your bikini, like sometimes you see at the Grammy Awards. Some singers and performers, sometimes that's what they wear as something really outrageous. You cannot do that if you go to university. But again, you have more leeway than if, let's say, you were in elementary school. So again, depending on the institution that embodies particular ideology, then you'll see that they allow a different dress code. When it comes to the intuitive feelers, they are the types to really like comfortable clothes, very feminine clothing. So you'll see, let's say if you were to go to, let's say, a meditation center, so then you'll see that people wear things that are very soft, gentle. They give leeway to people to be themselves. They're more sort of conservative. So in other words, they're not really flashy in terms of how they dress. They like colors as well, something that is of soothing. They're not the type to like to impose a particular way of being or behaving to other people. But again, it has this feeling of let's focus on emotions, spirituality, meaning. So if you go to, let's say, a spa, or let's say if you go to a meditation place or a retreat or a spiritual retreat, you'll see this is what is being emphasized. And they are also the type of people who like love physical affection, so they're probably going to give people a lot more leeway, but yet there is sort of a sort of modesty to it, because for them it has to do with really valuing the person beyond what they appear in terms of like how they dress or how expensive their clothing are. So I think it's kind of interesting when you actually look at the 4 main personality types, how it is displayed, and there are also other themes as well. So you'll see that feminine energy tends to have more of a sense of style, and they tend to sort of know how to put things together better than masculine energy. Also, you'll see that people who are the perceiver types or the spontaneous type tend to also be more relaxed in terms of how they dress, compared to a judger who likes more structure and things that are more sort of like well cut and more sort of like conservative lines. So I think that these are interesting sort of aspects to look for people. And the other thing as well when it comes to, let's say, sensor perceivers, is that they are the types who will have tattoos. Well, you won't see that with the other 3 main personality types. So it's rare you'll see a censor judger, actually I've never seen one, with blue hair, and piercings, like different parts of their bodies. So different personality types are attracted again to different dress codes. So again, the censor judges are more the conservative types. The censor perceivers are more the creative type who like to explore and try different combinations. Intuitive thinkers are more focused on the intellect. So for them, as long as you dress rather well, they're not really concerned about how you appear as much as how you think. And intuitive feelers are really focused on the human aspect. So they have more of a softer, gentler way of dressing and being sort of inviting almost with how they dress. So let me know if this video was interesting. Maybe you learned something. If you liked it, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.